An ethereal flower, flamboyant yet delicate, showy and sentimental. These are all descriptions of the peony, a large, bold bloom that always makes a statement. We'll look at several examples and types of the popular plant and how to care for them on this edition of Great Gardening, straight ahead.
Every tree has a moment when it shines.
That's called moneywort or creeping Jenny.
You can go in and do a rejuvenating pruning.
Forage and feed for our native pollinator population.
A garden really gives you peace of mind.
Hello and welcome to Great Gardening. I'm Pamela Fish. Peonies are gorgeous blooms that are prized for their beauty, ease of care, and great selection. We have many to show you. But first, we want to welcome back to the table our expert gardeners, Tom Casper, a longtime local garden professional, and horticulturist and educator Bob Olin. Hello.
Hello.
Now, do you guys say peony or peony?
Depends. Tomato or tomato, right?
I say peony.
Your choice.
You say peony?
And I say peony.
You say peony as well. Okay,
must be Midwestern.
we're all on the same page then. All right, well, we have some gorgeous ones. We also want to welcome our phone volunteers from the Park Point Club of the Duluth Garden Flower Society. There they are. Call them at the numbers there on the screen, and they will share your questions with us for informed answers and solutions to your garden issues.
No, and they don't show it in that picture, but they just got here minutes ago.
They were bridged, and so they're like,
They're
we
calling.
just made it. And we're so thankful that they got here. Thanks for their efforts.
Yes.
Okay. Well, now we want to look at this week's signs of the season. Much more promising than what we've seen in recent weeks. The sky is beautiful and the leaves are popping out. I think we also have some beautiful buds. Those are magnolias, Tom?
Yes.
That you think might be at Anger Tower?
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful magnolias. That's the
Gorgeous.
star or stellata variety there that are coming into full bloom right now. So.
Yeah, those are lovely.
Yep.
Rhododendron buds.
Buds, the PJM looks real nice.
And more leaves coming out. So spring is definitely here. But peonies or peonies, they come in three basic types of plants, and we're going to take a look at some information about them. The three types are the herbaceous, which is the bush plant that dies back to the ground in winter. That's the most common one around here, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then the tree peony with the woody stem, it defoliates in the fall, but we keep that stem, we don't cut it back, right?
Right.
And then an intersectional, which is basically a cross between the two.
Yeah, and and
go
really the tree peony is very desirable, but in most of our cases they need some winter protection.
Okay.
They will survive. Oftentimes they're really not a tree. They might be 4 feet tall at
Right.
the most, but if you can get some leaves around it or some kind of protection to help them in the winter, will help a lot. So
Let's take a look at the kinds of peony blooms. We have the single bloom, which is self-explanatory there, a semi-double. Then we have a full double. Those remind me of the kind we made as kids out of Kleenex, flowers made out of Kleenex. And then the Japanese form peony bloom with the huge center and all the stamens in it. And I love this name, the bomb peony bloom. Ways to plant them and care for them. They do really well around here, zone 2 to 8, sunny location, well-drained soil. And Tom, there's something about how you plant them, how deep you want to plant them.
right, and really kind of a rule of thumb is about 2 fingers deep for the eyes on the root of the peony. So when you're looking at it and you've divided it, measuring about 2 fingers, and I'm used to this with Scotch, but no. So those eyes about 2 inches or 2 fingers deep into the soil. So.
Okay. and about 3 feet apart. Other things we should be concerned about, Bob?
Well, you know, the real nice thing is they're good and winter hardy. And actually, in this window, we can grow some of the best peonies in the United States. As a matter of fact, one of our new neighbors is a Texas grower that sought out this northern climate just because was looking for an opportunity to produce these blooms midsummer. And in the northern climate, they're spectacular. So
Yeah.
I think it's an old-fashioned variety. You know, another real nice thing about peonies is they go right from some of our basic old-fashioned, relatively inexpensive varieties to some very exquisite and rather pricey. So whatever demographic you might find yourself in, there's a peony for
That's right. In fact, we have some examples of that. Last summer, we were at the annual Duluth Peony Show put on by the Duluth Peony Society, and they had more than 50 different blooms. Here's just a look at some of them. This first one, Garden Treasure, gorgeous yellow bloom. The Rosy Prospect, wow, that one's pretty stunning as well. Eastern Star, that's really kind of unusual with the fluffy center. Here's something called White Innocence, and one that I think is adorable. Twitter paid it. I think the name's adorable as well. This is the bomb form that we showed before. It's called Angel Cheeks. And who wants to pronounce this next one?
That's obviously one of the Japanese
It
varieties.
obviously is, yes. As is the next one, the Walter Mains. And then we have the Yummy. Hope I'm saying that right. My favorite, the Coral Charm. And then this one's appropriate for Mother's Day, Mother's Choice. Another one called Green Halo. Cora Stubbs, which you see quite often. And then finally the Viking Full Moon, and those are gorgeous. Most of those grown by Liz Donnelly, who's been growing peonies in Duluth for many, many years.
Yeah, and a lot of area gardeners have really sought out the Duluth variety of peony. There's one named after our fair city back from the 1930s, so it's been around
And that's a
almost
beautiful
90
white
years.
double bloom, is it not?
It's a bomb version.
Oh, it's a bomb.
So it's a big,
Okay.
thick flower, and very hardy, late bloomer, oftentimes in bloom right around the 4th of July. So.
Okay. All right, the Duluth peony. Look for that. All right. Well, we have questions, so let's get started with some of them, and then coming up later we will have a few more peonies to show you to inspire you. This question comes from Dave in Carlton. How do you have to be considered organic?
How did he phrase that again?
He said, what does a person have to do to be considered organic?
I see. Well, Tom and I, all three of us
You're
are
all
pretty organic.
We're all considered organic.
Technically, the chemical definition, anything that contains carbon, meaning at one time it was sourced from a living plant or animal. The term organic refers just to food and fiber, and that has nothing to do with your lawn or your landscape, but food or fiber. And to be certified organic, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has a certification process, and you can only use certain types of amendments for fertility. Only certain types of materials can be used for pest control, and there's a long list of these. So the certification process is what really qualifies you to be an organic grower.
Okay.
And very, very strict record keeping of all of the things that you do along that line.
But one caution, just because a material's labeled or certified for use for organic production doesn't necessarily mean it's benign or particularly safe. So you have to be aware of the fact that, particularly when we're talking about pesticides, all materials, even those that might be on the certified organic list, are pesticides and need to be handled carefully, and always the label needs to be adhered to.
Okay. Jen in Duluth has problems with the thimbleberry bushes invading the gardens because they have such long roots. Suggestions for that?
How I've dealt with them is really a little bit of hard work and a good pair of gloves. If you can pull those out or dig those out and just keep working it back and keep knocking them back, she should be able to get it under control. So.
And you know, so many people would love to be able to grow thimbleberry, and they're only situated in certain areas where the soils are a little bit lighter and so forth. So she can eliminate them, digging them out if she chooses to do that, and then maybe a little bit more organic material will help to keep them from moving back in again.
Okay, we have a few apple tree questions or apple questions. Karen is concerned she overpruned her Sweet 16 apple 3 years ago because since Since then, no leaves, buds, or apples, and now part of the bark's coming off.
Oh, leaves,
Is it
buds,
done
or
for?
apples, that's trouble.
Yeah?
I
For
don't
3 years, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it was over pruning unless she pruned right at ground level or something.
Okay.
It's a little unusual. That's very hardy variety, so I think something else has happened in that particular situation. Great variety, but over pruning, it should still come back for her.
Time to start over.
Yeah, find a new one. Sherry from Saginaw has a candy crisp tree that was planted 2 years ago next to some crabapple trees, but says the candy crisp is half the size of the other two.
Well, again, it can be the location, but more than likely it's the type of rootstock it was grafted onto. Grafting controls the overall height, and you should probably stay away from anything that's dwarf. And semi-dwarf or standard is what you're really looking for. A lot of the dwarf varieties will keep a plant or a tree smaller in stature, but nowhere near as winter hardy. And semi-dwarf or standard is what you really want to look for, and a good reputable nursery will be able to tell you what type of rootstock. So more than likely that's a rootstock issue.
Okay. Karen planted some hyacinths last fall. They're pink, they're zone 4, they're up now, look great. But she's wondering about the ongoing care, and can she pick them the first season, and will they come back okay?
I'm guessing more likely she means hydrangeas rather than hyacinth. Hyacinth here really act as an annual. So more than likely hydrangeas. I'm assuming that some vanilla strawberry or blue meringue or something along that line. So she certainly can pick those flowers off of the new growth, and doesn't want to do a lot right now. Really wait and see what happens and let it leaf out, and then of course cutting some of those flowers in the fall is just fine. So.
Okay. And well, if we do grow hyacinths here, they grow from bulbs, correct?
Oh yes, yeah. I'm thinking of an annual hyacinth. So yes, sorry about that. So yes, they grow from a bulb as well. So she can certainly cut and enjoy those flowers.
She can.
Take the bloom off, but encourage the foliage to continue to grow.
Yeah, and isn't that with the tulips and the daffodils too? You encourage you leave the leaves on, right? Is that
right? And actually, really, it's the daffodil group that's the easiest to naturalize. It'll come back quite readily for you.
okay? Okay. Dan from Duluth has an 8-foot burning bush that flowered in the summer but died in August, and is wondering if it could have been a problem from the salt on the road. Could that be the reason?
Well, we don't like salt, that's for sure. It might be a potential problem, but oftentimes there can be winter damage that occurs, and all the sugars will pop the buds, so you'll get things will leaf out, and then it falls apart on you, particularly if there was any damage to the cambium layer of the bark. Burning bush, winged euonymus and so forth, is not always dependably hardy, depending on the site and where it's located.
Okay.
And certainly if it is at that point where he's lost a lot of the foliage, it may not even come back this spring. So again, it might be one of those that he needs to start over with. So.
Okay. All right. I need to move on and take our more questions later. So we're going to move on to this week's tour, which takes us to the garden of a Duluth letter carrier and sometimes artist who took a flat, empty yard and planted a pallet.
Hi, my name is Regina Westerland, and I live in Upper Woodland with my husband Kevin and our 2 dogs Iris and Pearl, and welcome to my garden. This will be our 13th summer here. The grass wasn't growing real well, so we just thought, well, let's just take it out and put gardens in. I purposely planted, because of the bee situation, I try and find every flower that they are attracted to, and it seems like the coneflowers and the bee balm, which I have several varieties. I'm a letter carrier, so a lot of these came from my patrons on my route, and I say, oh, I like that, and they'll say, oh, come and take some. I like to do my trees as specimen trees, so you see the base of the trees and then have the, the foliage formed. I just got this sculpted, I think it's a sculpted Norway spruce last year, but weeping larch in the background, and then a bald cedar, and then that Barossa spruce tree. We've had that for 13 years. And it just stays that height, and it grows out this way, so I keep it, you know, pruned up. And then I rescued this tree as well. I thought it was kind of a neat, it was growing against a house like this, so I planted it this way. It's kind of a neat backdrop. 2 large apple trees and 2 plum trees. What I like to do when I plant trees, it's my favorite thing to do is just put the sedum at the base and let it spread. So I have time there. So eventually everything, the ground cover will be all sedum and you won't see the mulch. This here is a garden serpent that I did. It has a body and tail and 3 body parts. It took me 1 winter to do it inside the house. I use the mirrored pieces because we have a lot of deer in the neighborhood, and so when they walk by, they'll see their reflection several times and it'll spook them. Oh, and then I did that piece. When it's wet, you can see that it is dragonflies. And I like how this is, it doesn't look like this opens, so it's kind of a secret gate. My husband and I, we put in this patio, and right there is a in the ground fire pit. So it goes down about 18 inches, and it's really nice. I have gardens all along the outside of this fence as well. And so I plant the clematis on that side, so when it grows up, and it gets tall, then it comes over on this side, so we have the benefit of the flowers too. So I think I have maybe 8 or 9 of those, and then honeysuckle. All along this back side on the other side is irises. Did that bird bath there. So this is my favorite here. It's kind of a miniature garden with the sedum and the bird bath that I did, and then just a little of the mini hostas that are spread out in between there. Our first house had gardens there, but this was nice just to be able to do what we wanted to do. We've utilized every bit of our lot.
Thanks to Regina, that was just beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah, nice garden. Wow.
very nice. Okay, we have a lot more questions. Is it too late to prune a honeysuckle?
No, good time to prune it.
Okay, all right.
That was a nice one.
And we have a question about fernleaf peonies. Want some information about them. Are they hardy in our area?
Marginally hardy, probably need winter protection, so in the fall putting some leaves or mulch or something over the top of them and they should be fine, but certainly nothing they'd want out in an exposed area of the garden. So.
Do we treat those any differently than other peonies?
No.
Okay.
No, they are a herbaceous peony as well. So.
Okay. And I don't know if maybe you can describe the
Well,
leaves. They're kind
yeah,
of-
they're much smaller. Generally, at mature size, they're probably only 18 inches tall at the most, and they have fern-like foliage on
Yeah.
them and very pretty smaller flowers. So.
Gorgeous,
Kind of a
yeah.
specimen plant. They're not inexpensive either, are they?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Jim in Two Harbors is wondering about a 3-year-old red maple that is growing like a black fungus. I guess
Ooh,
he
it'd be
thinks
nice to talk with him if it's
Yeah.
on the leaf. Did you say it's a red maple or red leaf?
red maple. That's all I got.
Okay, we've got on the leaves, we've got a number of fungal problems. Tar spot is one that people are familiar with, but there's also septoria and anthracnose. There are a number of fungi that will attack the leaves, clean up all the leaves, super sanitation, and get them deep in the compost pile or out to your municipal compost site. If it persists over 3 or 4 years, there would be some fungicides, including Daconel 2787, that could be used as a protectant as the leaves are unfolding, and maybe one additional application if you can't get it under control.
Okay. Sandra in Hermantown wonders, when can I move my white bleeding heart?
Well, preferably bleeding hearts like to be moved in the fall, but certainly if she needed to move it or was inclined to, she could move it now and it would be fine. May set it back a little bit, but they should be fine.
You know, Tom, it's early in the spring, but we talk about peonies and moving the peonies in the fall, but they can be moved now if you have to.
Yep.
Just you can set the bloom back and you have to give them a little bit more tender loving care. It's true of so many of these things. There's a preferred time, but spring and fall for most of these, because temperatures are cooler and there's plenty of moisture, things can be done even if it isn't ideal.
Yep. Good point, Bob.
Okay.
That's good stuff.
Okay, Willie from Duluth wonders about any special brands of composters that you might recommend.
Now, composters,
Or does he mean compost?
does he mean the actual equipment, or have they got somebody on the shovel that's composting for you? If you know someone like that likes to turn compost piles, I'd
Yeah, there you
recommend
go.
them. You know, actually, I took a look at some of these. There are a lot of mechanical devices, a lot of barrels that can be utilized. It's just a mixing process, so any of them work fine. None of them are really going to take you through the winter, though. And the real key is, I found looking at a lot of these things, is just a self-insulating pile. If you can get something that's 4x4 at a minimum, or 5x5, big pile, and that's going to self-insulate, and that's what really takes you through the winter. So composting is really about getting the carbon and the nitrogen and the water right, and then the kind of device doesn't really make too much difference, just so it has enough volume really to handle the material that you've got.
Well, people like something attractive in their yard.
Oh, that's right.
To put their pile of garbage in.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Hide their stuff.
Couple questions about moss, M-O-S-S. Mick from the town of Duluth says he put down sod in the shade and now has moss. What should I do there? And then Joy and Rick say that moss seems to be taking over the yard, and how did they get rid of it?
You know, we've had so much moisture. You got to remember that moss is not a vascular plant. In other words, it doesn't pump water up through the root system. It absorbs it all through the tissue, through the cell structure itself. So it just means there's lots and lots of moisture. So you'd have to improve the drainage, and one way you can do that is prune trees, take some trees down, get some more sunlight in there, and change the environment. It's either that, and as trees grow, we tend to get a little bit more shade. It's that, or just learn to live with it and appreciate it. There are areas out east where they have major moss gardens, and where they actually dry and desiccate the moss, and they send it around, they ship it around, and it's kind of a hot
They
item.
sell it, don't they?
They sell it,
Yes.
absolutely. So
Maybe
there's
you could get a
Little side business.
little side
There you
business
go.
there with your moss. Who knows?
Yeah, so the really strong point with that is the pruning, really, and they're saying it's getting worse and worse. Trees are getting bigger and bigger,
That's what's
and
happening.
there's more and more shade, so.
And in all fairness, we had a very moist year last year. There's been a lot of soil moisture, but I think that the one thing we want to advise people, stay away from all of the pesticides that are sold for moss control. I just think that's a very, very poor use of any kind of material, so don't even consider that. Everything from bleaches, I've seen just about everything recommended,
Really?
and I would stay away from all those materials.
Okay. All right, good information. Thank you. Well, right now we have some pictures that were sent in from an avid gardener and fan of the show in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Gardens in Ironwood, Michigan will soon be abloom again with a variety of stunning iris. Spring blossoms of hellebore also come up in the gardens of Lena Constantini, along with palminaria, primrose, and this field of creeping phlox. Before long, the pink rhododendron will open as well. Lena says she sometimes sees newborn white-tailed deer among the plants and various birds and wildlife that make their home in her gardens. Pollinators alight on the bachelor buttons. Her blue delphinium and pink astilbe are a welcome summer sight near the house, and later these yellow blooms will continue to brighten the season. If you have photos of bright blooms, birds, or bees among your gardens, share them with us at Great Gardening, and let us show what you grow. Thanks to Lena for sending those pictures from the UP, and we love.
Beautiful photography.
Yeah,
Wow,
gorgeous. Some people are, there's so many people out there doing beautiful photography, and beautiful gardening. We wanted to talk a little bit about what you brought there, Tom,
Yeah.
because that helps care for your peonies.
Right, yeah, so a lot of folks have questions about keeping those peonies from drooping.
Right.
And you can use different supports. Some folks use tomato cages. These are hoops made for supporting things like peonies. Easy to put on, and you can certainly put them on after they've already come up without risking much damage to the plant. So there's this type, and they sort of clip together, or there's the ring that will go on top of stakes. Both of them work very well, and certainly folks that are battling those peonies that are
Especially
drooping.
when it rains on those big blooms.
Yeah,
They
and
really
just when they're going to
can't
bloom,
hold their heads up.
so stake them.
All right. Well, as promised, we do have more precious peonies to prime you for their arrival in the coming weeks. Let's take a look. Oh, those are gorgeous. And Ted, our floor director, is telling me we're out of time and we have a lot of questions, but I'm glad we got to see those peonies because they were just beautiful. We want to remind everybody to check out our website for past episodes of the program, information, and a calendar of upcoming garden events. And we also have a link to the Duluth Peony Society. But that's going to do it for this week. Gosh, I think we got a lot of information in, and I want to thank you guys so much for your knowledge and your time. We really appreciate that. I also want to thank our phone volunteers from the Duluth Garden Flower Society, and thanks to all of you at home watching and calling in questions. From all of us here, enjoy the garden.